Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org. Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Fire up the grill this 4th of July and enjoy ribeye steaks or burgers for an epic outdoor barbecue. Don't forget to hit the produce aisle for corn on the cob, veggie kebabs, and watermelon. Safeway.com.
Did you hear fireworks in your neighborhood over the weekend? In the lead up to the 4th of July, local law enforcement gets thousands of illegal firework calls. They say if you put on a show for your neighbors and a cop comes knocking, hand over your Roman candles and they likely won't hand you a citation. But also, you can always leave it to the professionals. I'm Haley May. Coming up, Colorado plans to keep defending birthright citizenship.
The question that we're going to have to now figure out is Colorado the only ones who get to protect the constitutional rights of our citizens?
Then, a green menace to watch out for in your yard and your neighborhood.
It was just inevitable that eventually it was going to come down the Front Range.
Plus, Colorado works to keep crisis services to support LGBTQ people. And an escape to some special lakes in remote northern Colorado.
The draw here is really is just getting away and enjoying nature.
It's Monday, June 30th. Here's the news in Colorado today. U.S. citizenship will continue to be a right for all babies born in Colorado, regardless of their parents' immigration status.
Coloradans should know you're protected.
Attorney General Phil Weiser says since Colorado was one of the states that sued to stop Trump's order, birthright citizenship stays in place here, even after Friday's Supreme Court ruling that left a lot of states in limbo. But the ruling raises a lot of other questions, and Denverite editor Andrew Kenny is leading our coverage of what comes next. Andy, Trump tried to get rid of birthright citizenship on his first day in office, but a lower court order blocked him, and that's still in place here, right?
Yes, but a lot changed on Friday because the Supreme Court said that on the national level, we are basically done with this concept of universal injunctions. The Supreme Court said lower court judges are going to have a lot less power to block policies like this on a nationwide basis. So that means that those earlier blocks on the citizenship order, they're not going to apply nationally anymore, but they'll continue to apply here in Colorado, because our state was part of this lawsuit. On the other hand, though, starting about a month from now, Trump could potentially enforce this ban on birthright citizenship in 28 other states that didn't sue.
Okay, so does that mean that birthright citizenship is still law here, but it might not be in other neighboring states?
Yeah, that could basically be the case soon. Trump has to wait a month, the court said, before this nationwide block on his order drops. But it does seem like at the end of July, we could see Trump really trying to take action to end this concept of birthright citizenship in, some of our neighboring states, even Wyoming, Kansas, Oklahoma, Utah. And Trump's order, what it actually says is that being born in the U.S. would not be enough to get citizenship anymore. You'd have to have parents with legal status. And yet that would not be the case here in Colorado because of the intricacies of how this case is playing out. Here's Attorney General Phil Weiser.
It would be a recipe for chaos to have questions about if someone's born in Colorado but lives in Wyoming, are they a birthright citizenship or not?
But it's likely that we're going to see, we've got that month until this ban drops. We can see a frenzy, I think, of legal activity to still try to stop Trump from taking away birthright citizenship anywhere. Weiser says the Supreme Court left a lot of doors open with this ruling.
This opinion is incomplete in terms of what it's going to mean.
So what's the next step in the courts?
So this Supreme Court ruling on Friday really was about how the court battle was being conducted, but it still leaves this much kind of deeper legal fight over whether Trump even had the authority to do what he did to try to get rid of birthright citizenship. So, our Attorney General, Phil Weiser, thinks this is going to go back to the Supreme Court again to actually decide if what Trump tried to do was constitutional or not. But until then, I could even imagine people coming here to Colorado if they think that their babies are going to have a better chance of citizenship. That's kind of similar to what we've seen happen with abortion access after the court decision on Roe.
If the Supreme Court does take this back up at a national level, when might that be?
Well, the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said she wants or expects it to be taken up in the Supreme Court's October session. That's certainly possible, but not guaranteed. So it'll be months at the very least before we get a true answer on this.
Do we have an idea of how many people this might actually affect? How many babies are born in Colorado to non-citizen parents?
Not really. We know that there are estimates that maybe 250,000 children are born to unauthorized immigrant parents in the U.S. every year. There's really no information about how many are born in Colorado. There's really no solid statistics because this is just not something that hospitals track or have to track. In a couple states, like Texas and Florida, state law does require hospitals to ask about parents' immigration status, but even there, patients don't have to answer. So this is a real big unknown.
Okay, with this Friday ruling, the Supreme Court says lower courts shouldn't block policies nationwide. So are there other policies that are currently blocked by a lower court that we could see take effect here now?
Yeah, that is actually a big question, Haley, that comes out of this ruling. And the New York Times has reported that it could have an effect on cases having to do with everything from whether kids should get immigration lawyers to Trump's attempt to withhold funding for states to, new requirements around voter ID. And Trump himself has said now they're going to be able to move faster and brush aside some of these roadblocks from lower court judges.
Birthright editor Andrew Kenny, thank you.
Thank you.
As part of its effort to remove all things diversity, equity, and inclusion from federally funded resources, the Trump administration is ending access to LGBTQ-specific counseling on the National Crisis Hotline. This starts in a few weeks, but despite the worry, it may not change much for callers in Colorado. Right now, when you call 988, you get 3 additional options for help. 1 for Spanish speakers, 1 for military veterans, and 1 for the LGBTQ plus community.
To connect to specialized support for LGBTQ plus people under the age of 25, press 3.
Those who press 3 get sent to one of several organizations with special training.
And as of July 17th, at the 988 national level, that number 3 option is going away.
Gordon Coombs is the director of 988 Colorado. He says the moves raised alarm bells because young people who identify as LGBTQ+ are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers.
Having people that are specially trained to kind of handle those things is always important. They get connected to call center services that are specially designed to understand the uniqueness or the intricacies of that population.
But in Colorado, Coombs doesn't expect a big change because all hotline workers in our state have the specialized training too.
We make sure that we're responding to all populations and making sure that everybody's connected to compassionate, inclusive mental health care.
That is, if the call volume allows them to get through to a local helper.
We have the 4th largest call volume in the country.
There are several things happening simultaneously that mean call volume could become a problem. On Tuesday, 988 is being consolidated with the Colorado Crisis Line. Those added calls, plus all those no longer being routed to other call centers, could mean more people will get bumped from a local call center with LGBTQ training to a national one without it. Right now, Coombs says people get bumped out of state about 6% of the time. Still, he hopes people will remain empowered to use the service because the vast majority of calls, he says, will still get answered locally in Colorado. Are you ready?
Get ready. I'm on my way. Get ready.
For the emerald ash borer?
Who am I? I'm the EAB. Believe me, so hungry I will eat a tree. The leaves leave when I come to your area, cause I'm scary and causing a...
Denver Botanic Gardens dropped that fire track back in 2017 to warn people about a tiny green bug that was killing a lot of trees. Matt Ostrowski is an arborist with Tree Medicine Tree Service in Denver.
It was just inevitable that eventually it was going to come down the Front Range and get into Denver.
That time has come. The ash borer officially arrived in Denver this month. It's also appeared in Lakewood, Colorado Springs, Erie, Superior, and Littleton in recent years.
It's about 1 centimeter long, and it's metallic green. It's actually kind of a handsome insect.
and they're causing a lot of damage.
Just last week, had a customer who had probably a 60-year-old beautiful ash tree that got infected with emerald ash borer, and it was gorgeous. It was a great tree. And she lost it. And it happens when emerald ash borer hits, it is a pretty quick decline. We're losing, or have the potential to lose if they're not protected, some really great trees in Denver's urban forest.
Ash trees make up about 15% of the tree canopy on Colorado's Front Range.
There's white ash and green ash and autumn purple ash.
When they're stressed, which is common for ash trees because they don't love the clay soil, they put out a certain pheromone.
The insects know which trees are stressed, and they tunnel, they galley, they chew laterally in the vascular system, and that's how they kill the trees.
But if you catch the symptoms early on, you may be able to save your tree. Some signs you may have borers: the ash tree branches could die or the bark splits off. Also, look for small D-shaped holes in the trunk.
And these little bushy shoots in places that it's not supposed to grow.
A chemical injection can protect your tree for 2 growing seasons. It'll need to be applied by someone with a license, but Ostrowski says that most tree care companies will do a free consultation, and some cities even subsidize ash tree treatment. Denver just put up $1 million for pesticide application through 2027. And even though emerald ash borers are good for business,
I don't revel in seeing trees get destroyed. I grew up in Denver. I was born here. And so I know the value of the trees in Denver in our urban forest. And so when, just like the client that I was talking about, that sucked because it was a beautiful, big, beautiful tree and she lost it.
it's time to get outside and show your trees some love. Have you ever daydreamed about escaping our big cities and living in a tiny town with only 500 people? One of our listeners brought up this curiosity about a specific place, Red Feather Lakes, which is northwest of Fort Collins.
Red Feather Lakes is probably Colorado's best kept secret, and most of us kind of like that.
David Burks is a local real estate agent. He sells both homes and land for camping. But as he told CPR's Elaine Tassi when she visited recently, living in a small town means you can get off work early and head to the lakes.
There are many public lakes in the area, many private lakes in the area. In the winter time, there is one resort that does some tobogganing and cross-country skiing and outdoor skating, ice skating. The draw here is really is just getting away and enjoying nature. We have all sorts of wildlife: moose, elk, mule deer, black bear.
Wait, mule deer?
Mule deer.
What's a mule deer?
A mule deer is
Mule deers have bigger ears that kind of look like donkey ears. Red Feather Lakes is in the Roosevelt National Forest. It's a small, rustic town and an outdoor playground for those who like to fish, hike, or backpack. This is part of the ancestral homelands for Ute, Arapaho, and Cheyenne people, among others. But Pat Clemens, who's president of the Red Feather Historical Society, says legend is it's named after someone in another tribe.
The town was named after Princess Red Feather, and she was Creek and Cherokee.
The story goes that she was a traveling singer. At a concert in Denver, someone asked her name, and he found the English translation Red Feather was so beautiful, he decided it would make a good name for the area. These days, at the trading post in town,
it's like worms, flies, fishing lures.
You have worms inside the
We got worms. Yes, right here.
Are they going to pop out?
I don't know. Let's hope not. They're a little creepy.
Oh, gross!
I told you. So yes, we got worms.
For the 4th of July, the trading post is selling s'mores supplies, and the area is expecting thousands of people to come this week for fireworks and boating. Nearby, because everything is nearby here.
Hello, Public Radio. This is Brett from the Potbelly. Good to see you and talk to you.
Amy Wolf has worked as a server at Potbelly Restaurant for years. She's gotten to know most of the folks who live in Red Feather Lakes.
Well, I know a lot about town. My daddy lived up here since early 80s. It's a nice little village.
What's it like working here?
Well, it's very nice, honey. I'm part of the family.
Yeah?
This story from Elaine Tassi is part of Colorado Wonders, where Coloradans ask us questions and we try to answer your curiosities or give you a moment of escape. Submit your questions to Colorado Wonders at the link in our show notes. Additional reporting for today's show came from Denverite's Kyle Harris, CPR's John Daly, Tom Hess, Caitlin Kim, Ryan Warner, and Mateo Schimpf. When you see friends and family this holiday weekend, tell them about Colorado Today. Thanks for spreading the word. I'm Haley May. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org. Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Fire up the grill this 4th of July and enjoy ribeye steaks or burgers for an epic outdoor barbecue. Don't forget to hit the produce aisle for corn on the cob, veggie kebabs, and watermelon. Safeway.com.